Have you guys ever heard of the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yes.
Well, I first learned about them from a movie I seen a while back. I thought the story was interesting and I wanted to learn more about them. First, let me tell you about this 1925 War College report that was done to assess the fitness of black men for future wars. This report contained racist and demeaning statements about blacks. For example, it stated that black men were inferior to white men. They were stubborn, unruly, and cowardly. In 1939, the NAACP took aim at the military segregationist policies and their refusal to put blacks in leadership positions. They also wanted to dismiss the claims of that 1925 War College report. Black newspapers and civic groups, as well as the First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, also campaigned to integrate the armed forces. In 1941, the campaign turned to the courts after a black student at Howard University filed suit against the Air Corps. This suit was also backed by the NAACP. As a result, the Air Corps reluctantly created a segregated unit to train black pilots. Now, during this time, the Army, Navy, and the Marines shared the task of all aviation operations. The Air Force wasn't starting until 1947. This new plan to train black pilots was called the Tuskegee Experiment. Do you guys know why they call it the Tuskegee Experiment?
No.
Okay. Members of the Tuskegee Airmen believed it was called an experiment because they were supposed to fail. The potential pilots received flight training on a segregated base built by the Army. They also took classes in navigation, meteorology, and instrumentation at the Tuskegee Institute. After completing their training, the Tuskegee Airmen and their supporters had to petition Washington to get them entered into the war. Finally, in April of 1943, the Tuskegee Airmen, now designated as the 99th Fighter Squadron, was deployed to North Africa. They were assigned to provide ground support for Allied operations in North Africa and Italy. The 99th Squadron was given second-hand P-40 aircraft that were outdated and slow. But despite all the challenges they faced during training and deployment, they still received a Distinguished Unit Citation for their performance in combat. In 1944, the 99th Squadron was reassigned to the 332nd Fighter Group. This fighter group contained all the black graduates from the Tuskegee program. So this fighter group contained all black pilots and ground crew. During that summer, the 332nd received P-51 Mustangs. This was the best fighter planes at the time that America had. The pilots painted the tails of those airplanes red, and the nickname Red Tails was coined. The 332nd Fighter Squadron's primary responsibility was changed to provide escort service for B-17s and B-24s, bombers. Now, these bomber crews and pilots of these bombers was white. And while escorting bombers over France, Germany, Yugoslavia, Austria, Romania, and Greece, white bomber pilots began noticing that the Red Tails were providing excellent bomber coverage for them, escort service for them. In March of 1945, Allied bombers undertook a long and dangerous mission into the heart of Germany. They had to travel over 1,600 miles deep into German territory. Knowing that this mission was dangerous, long and dangerous and difficult, they requested the services of the Red Tails to escort them. Now I just want to take a minute and go back and reference this 1925 War College report that stated black soldiers were unruly, inferior, and cowardly. But they were requested for the most dangerous mission, air mission, up until this date. When the bombers reached their targets, German jets attacked the bombers. These jets were the first jets. This was new technology. You know, these are the first jets ever. So these jets were 100 miles an hour faster than any plane that America had. Even though the Red Tails faced a superior jet aircraft, they were still able to shoot down 3 of those jets. Because of their incredible escort performance during the long trip, everyone in the 332nd received the Presidential Unit Citation. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African American aviators in the United States military. During World War II, Black Americans in the United States were still subject to Jim Crow laws, and the American military was racially segregated. The Tuskegee Airmen were subject to discrimination both inside and outside the military. During the course of the war, 66 Tuskegee pilots were killed in combat, 32 were shot down and taken prisoner of war, and the Tuskegee pilot shot down 409 German aircraft. They destroyed 950 units of transportation, and they sank one destroyer, which was a big warship. They received the Presidential Citation. They received 744 air medals, 150 distinguished flying crosses, 14 bronze stars, 1 silver star, and numerous purple hearts. The best known Tuskegee Airmen were the fighter pilots of the 332nd. But any man or woman, military or civilian, black or white, who served at the Tuskegee airfield in any of the programs were designated original Tuskegee Airmen. On March of 1945, an African American newspaper ran an article claiming that in over 200 missions that the Tuskegee Airmen never lost a bomber to enemy fire. It wasn't true, but the story became widespread and was believed for over 60 years. It was discovered a total of 27 bombers they escorted had been shot down by enemy aircraft. However, the average number of bombers lost by other escort groups was twice that number. The highly publicized success of the Tuskegee Airmen helped pave the way for the eventual integration of the United States Armed Forces by Harry Truman in 1948. Thank you.